Everyone. Susan Gerbic from Psychics Explained. I received a message from my dear friend Janice today, who sent me a link. She said, I haven't had a chance to look at this yet, but oh my gosh, what is it? What is it? It's an interview by Nate Eaton, who I have seen a lot of his work. He is in Idaho and he covers true crime and lots of things like that that are happening in Idaho. He's done a wonderful job. He works very, very hard at what he does, and I really like his work. Well, she shares this link, and it says it's called. He's going to be doing an interview with a woman who's written a book, "Women Who Talk to the Dead: Solving 200 Cold Case Murders," and she's like, "Oh no, what is this?" And I said, "Oh no, I don't know either. I really like Nate Eaton. I hope it's nothing like it has to do with psychics. Oh dear, what do we do?" And I said, "Okay, I'm gonna look." And I looked. Janice says, "It might not be psychics. It might be something else." And I said, "Yeah, you're right." Oh my gosh, I was really relieved. The thing is, I mean, if it had been a woman or women who were really solving cold case files with psychic abilities and they had solved them, wonderful. Let's make it 50,000 cold case files. Let's not make it 200. Let's get at it. I mean, if a psychic's doing it, you don't have to dig anything up, do you? You just figure it out somehow. I guess however they do over Zoom, and they do it over the telephone, they do it over text messages, emails. I've seen psychics supposedly getting in touch with dead people pretty dang easily, and they don't seem to need any kind of effect. Of course, I'm kidding. They're not in touch with anybody, as you well know. So I just wanted to point this out. Let me show you what I'm talking about over here. This is really cool. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to checking out this book. So here is the interview by Nate Eaton, and it is just been out 21 hours. It's got 16,000 views already. Courtroom Insider with Nate Eaton. And this is about he's interviewing a woman who has written a book, and she is following other women who are in the police world and forensic world and so on. And what they have decided to do, these women, is in Michigan, they have excavated 200 graves. It took them 5 years to do this. And what they did is they've dug up people and who are unnamed, John and Jane Does, those kinds of people. Listening to the interview, it shows that whenever whenever somebody was buried, because you have to bury them, they buried them with the clothes they were wearing whenever they were found. And a lot of times they're buried with the artifacts of whatever was on them when they died, which is really interesting. Why would you do that? Some of these cases are 70 years old. These are people in Michigan who have been buried 70 years, and nobody knows who these people are. So think about all these families that really, really would like to have some kind of information. I mean, talk about helping families, talk about helping people with closure. Isn't that what psychics want to do, or they say they're going to do, but they never do? So this is really brilliant. It's going to cost them an awful lot of money. It's a very small area that they're doing this. I believe there's lots more than 200 that need to be done, but they're starting with this 200. And I think it's fantastic. So they're digging them up. They have to go through the court. They have to get permission, and they have to excavate it. Then they look, and they're trying to get DNA that's in these bones. And I don't know if they're going to be able to draw it from everything. And I haven't listened to the whole interview, so I don't know if they've solved any of the cases yet. But it's taken 500 years to find these people and get them dug up. They said some of the problems are, according to the records, it says so and so Jane Doe found on such and such day in this street or the highway or wherever, or in the woods, or is buried in this location, but they go there and they're not necessarily buried in that location. So records weren't that great at that time, and so they're dealing with red tape and bureaucracy, the red tape of it. And they're just 70 years ago, how difficult it was to be able to do this kind of thing. The 1940s, 1950s, we didn't have computers, and these are people that were probably, they thought were unwanted. They could have been, they nobody came forward to identify them, so they probably thought they were transient, poor, uh, somethings. I don't know if some were murder victims or not, but isn't this fantastic? This is what psychics should be doing if they could do what they claim to be able to do. And again, as I say all the time, why are psychics still in business? How can you claim to be a medium that communicates with the dead, but you've not solved a single case? No psychic has ever solved a murder case. Like, this is going to be monumental, and hopefully we'll be able to do this all across the country. Genetic genealogy has gotten to a point where it is time consuming and it is expensive, but it's doable. Databases exist that where we can find, they put the DNA in, and enough people like myself have opted in to be able to help your family tree find that missing link. And it doesn't need to be somebody who is directly your ancestor. It could be a second, third cousin, once removed, all kinds of different areas, people you've never even heard of, that you can get that to a point where you can figure out where the person might fit in a family tree and find out if the person had gone missing. Again, we don't know if they're murder victims or if they're just people that were found alongside the road who died because of exposure or hunger or accident. So fantastic. I love this idea. Let me show you the book. I'm going to have to get this. Here's the Kindle version right here. Women Who Talk to the Dead, the true story of 200 forgotten murder victims and the relentless pursuit of justice by an FBI agent and a Detroit police detective. So this is fantastic. A true story about the largest exhumation of murder victims ever undertaken by the FBI. So fantastic. So 2 women decided to listen to the dead. Isn't that amazing? So here's a book that I have read a couple times. It's pretty old, but this is kind of on the same lines. This is way before we had genetic genealogy. Dead Men Do Tell Tales. And this is by William R. Maples, PhD, and Michael Browning. It's a strange and fascinating cases of a forensic anthropologist. So there are people in the sciences, yay, science, that are able to use their skills painstakingly to figure out who is who, how people died, what, and to try to narrow it down to being able to get a hold of families and so on. This book is really old. I probably should reread it. It is from 1994, so long time ago, 30 years ago. But it is interesting how important it is and how these people are so passionate about solving these mysteries and bringing these people's real names to the front and letting the families know, even though the families are probably long been dead, to let them know that we have an answer to these cases. These people deserve respect. These families deserve respect. Everyone deserves to have some respect, even in death. That's been my motto forever. And I think that we really need to throw these psychic mediums who claim to be able to communicate with the dead, give me a freaking break, and actually say, you know what, you're out of business. You just go. Just go. Just go and get into the sciences if you really want to help. And genetic genealogy, forensic anthropology, all of that. Super fascinating work. Encourage people to go into those fields if you have any way of influencing anyone who's looking for a new career. I'm telling you, this is the future, and I think that we should really be throwing our weight behind them. I'm going to pick up the book. I hope you guys do too. And thanks as usual for watching my channel. Thanks for being part of our community. Thanks, everyone.